Morning. Saturday the 27th of August 2022. It's bank holiday weekend and I've taken the rest of next week off as well to try and get some of these big jobs finished. Then that's me sorted, ready for winter. And I should hopefully be able to just relax a little bit then. Just coming up to the garden and pottering. That's the hopes. So basically I haven't been able to get up all week, but I've just potted on a load of cabbage and a load of broccoli into bigger pots in here for when I've got some of those beds empty. Now today's probably just going to be a harvest day. Now I have been harvesting all through, but you haven't seen that because I've had that many projects going on. But today is going to be probably a big harvest day today. Loads of tomatoes, loads of cucumbers, aubergines, etc. in the polytunnel to start with. Now I planted, if you've seen my other videos, you'll notice I planted a second round of second earlies. And I planted those in the first week in June. I thought I had 9 little seed potatoes left over of the Charlottes, and I think it was 9 or 10 left over. Oh, sugar. My mind's gone blank of the others, but they were the second earlies as well. So I planted them into the 2 beds that happened to be available. But 3 weeks ago, what you haven't seen on the videos is those potatoes got blight really bad, and I had to chop them straight off at the bottoms. So technically speaking, they've only been in July, August, 3 weeks of this week, 7, 10 weeks, but for 3 weeks they've had no foliage. So I'm just going to lift them all today because they need to come out. Whatever we get is a bonus crop, because if we hadn't planted them, then we wouldn't have got any. So whatever we get will be a bonus crop. I did harvest all the Sapo Miras out of the buckets as well, and I actually got a good crop out of those. I didn't video that, unfortunately. But I still have a bag of potatoes over in the garage that's been stored since the first harvest. And then of course I've still got my second round of Sapo Miras that I planted in, I think it was the 3rd week of July. I haven't been over to look, but I'm hoping that they haven't got blight as well. And then when I harvested the Sapo Miras, there was a handful of Winston potatoes that I saved out of the garage from last year that I kept for seed and forgot about. There was a handful of those, and I put 2 or 3 in 3 of those buckets and a bit of fish blood and bone, and they're up as well now, and I can move those ones into the polytunnel if I have to. I'm going to stop babbling and we'll bring you along. Right, so about 4 weeks ago we planted these lettuces, and as you can see we're ready to start taking pickings from these. Some are doing better than others. So we'll be taking some leaves from these as a harvest. We're going to use these ones for leaves, keep them going as long as we can. And these were the ones we put under cover just in case we got slugged. But as you can see, there's very, very little damage on these. And none at all on those. I'm just going to harvest a few of these leaves. So the first thing we've got here is a bucket of cold water, clean cold water. We'll just pick the leaves and straight in to the bucket of water and keep them nice and crisp and fresh. I'm not going to video it all. We'll basically show you what we've got when we're finished. Right, that looks a bit better. We've thinned all these out a bit now. They needed picked back, otherwise they would have just went on the bolt. So we've picked them back, hold them back a little bit, and we've got a cracking harvest. Now there's more than we will eat here. There's 3/4 of this big bucket full, and we're just leaving them soaking in the water. And I can't really press that down much more than that. That's how much we've got. But I've got Michelle coming today for some harvests, tomatoes and things. So yeah, plenty to go around, guys, plenty to go around. Right, I'm not sure how well you can see me in this jungle. I don't know how many times I've cut these back, but the next job is to get in here. We've got cucumbers, we've got loads and loads and loads of ripe tomatoes. The melons are coming along quite nice. There's not many of them, but they're coming along nice. Tomatoes forevermore, cucumbers forevermore, long purple aubergines per se. Let's just get this lot picked and I'll bring you back. I'm going to take this cardigan off and this cap. It's boiling in here. It's been in the polytunnel for the last half an hour, and as you can see, I'm totally brutal when it comes to cutting back. And I do this all the time with the tomatoes. I've found they can actually take it, and it keeps the air in the polytunnel much better. So let's start off. You can see I've got a couple of sweet peppers we can take there as well, which I haven't picked yet. I've savagely cut back all the tagetes now, and the basil. I just noticed when I was pruning this grapevine I have some small grapes on. I won't be eating those, of course, but yeah, bonus. So we've clipped everything right back, took all the leaves off these cucumbers. There's the melon. I took the other stem out to give this a chance to build up and get at least one good melon on this. But I can see there is another one trying to come there. Now these need a real good water because I deliberately didn't water for over a week to sweeten all the tomatoes and all the fruit on all of the plants. Still got aubergines on here. Loads and loads and loads of them. These are head 8 and 8. Well, there we go. That's the top of the aubergine. Almost level with my head. Peppers. We've only took off one bellboy pepper. We've had a lot of those. More peppers in here. Just starting to turn now. A couple more long purple aubergines. We're just waiting them to grow a little bit. But everything in here needs a really good watering now. But you can see what I do with my tomatoes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I leave them with 5 leaves on the top as they're growing. I don't think that one's even got 5. But I've stopped them all now as well. I've cut the tops off to stop them. I don't want them any higher than that. I've had a bit of dry set, but nothing bad. But thankfully, because of the air that comes through here constantly, and this door being open for the last 2 months in all weathers, we haven't done too bad. We've got a good set on the aubergines. Still getting flowers. It's still producing. And yeah, I cut this one back and stopped it, but it is still flowering and it's still producing, and it has produced magnificently. We have another melon here, and I've stopped these melons now as well, and another one here, and another one here. Now these don't grow massive, but that gives you an idea of the size of it. It's more than a handful, put it that way, and they aren't finished yet. So yeah, we've still got lots and lots of tomatoes on the Crimson Crush. All these are Crimson Crush. Absolutely my favourite tomato. Don't grow anything else now. Well, I say that, and this year I haven't. Peaches all over the place on this little Crimson Bonfire peach. As you can see, since we put this direct in the ground in this polytunnel, it has came on leaps and bounds. They really love it. Again, lots and lots of peppers. Oh, there's a couple there to harvest as well. I didn't see those, but I've just found them now. So yeah, and now we'll just give you a quick look at another harvest. So this is what we took out after we cut everything back. So these are the purple aubergines, and I've got one pepper. So these are the large bell aubergines and the purple long that I grew myself, the purple longs from seed. And then we've got cucumbers. There's a double one there, it's actually joined itself, they've joined themselves together. And then we've got tomatoes by the dozen. Quick look in here. That's the orange tree that we saved with the one leaf. Absolutely beautiful now. That's the mandarin that we washed last week. Just waiting for that to take again now. He doesn't actually put any new growth on yet. Oh, I'm saying that, he does. There we go. Some there. And what's more, it's also put on a flower. So it's definitely making a comeback now, guys. Grapefruit, absolutely beautiful specimen now. Even the little cafe lime is putting out new growth. The limes are still growing. It did drop some, but we have still got some on. I think there's about 4, maybe 5 left on this now, but it did drop some. There's another couple there, one down there. Yeah. All of these are starting to pick up now. These are the blueberries. And at this point I just want to give a shout out to my favourite online shopping centre for trees. These are 2 blood orange trees that have just arrived day before yesterday, I think it was. And look at the condition of these. Absolutely beautiful. We won't make the same mistake with these. These will be going right in the ground as soon as I get that other palleted tree house sorted out. They will be going right in the ground. They're in here now just for a little bit of protection and shade. Mandarin, fig, everything. Even these are coming back now. Fuchsias starting to come back and flower. Olive trees, these will be going in the ground. Still got lemons on here. It hasn't dropped them, thankfully. It's dropped a leaf or 2, but it hasn't dropped the lemons yet, and it's putting out more flower. And some more new growth there. We stripped these peaches of all their peaches, and this one here has millions of lemons on it. It's actually been dropping them because it's too many, and fruit trees just know what they can handle and what they can't, and they just drop them. So don't worry if you get fruit drop, even if your plant's perfectly healthy. It's normal. We've just been and fed the hens, and here's another harvest, and that's just 1 day's lay. Get this, roughly this many, and sometimes more. They're starting to go off lay a little bit now, getting late in the year, but we sometimes get this many and then more every day. We even get blue eggs, and they come off a particular breed of chicken. We've got a good mixture of browns, whites and blues. Right, so we finally got round to harvesting one of these little beds of potatoes, and in this little bed here I planted 9 Charlotte potatoes about that size. They might not have even been that big, to be honest. And that's basically what we got from them. All lovely and clean. No scab, no nothing. So, in spite of having to cut the tops off because they got blight, and they've only been in the ground a maximum of, I don't know, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, it's a bonus crop, innit? Right, so I've pulled these kestrels up as well. I actually remembered there was only 6 plants in here because I'd already harvested 4 when they first got blight, to see what they were like underneath and see if they were edible. So there isn't a lot, but we got that out of 6 plants, plus a few small ones there. And I'm actually thinking, because I absolutely love these taters, I'd never grown them till this year. The kestrel potatoes have got a lovely taste. I'm actually thinking I'm going to keep all of these for sweet potatoes next year. For what there is there, eat them in 2 meals. I would rather keep these, and then I've got me stock for next year. So from 10 tiny wee seed potatoes that I had left put in, we've at least multiplied our seed potato stock for next year. So that's what I'm going to do with these ones. Right, I've decided I'll keep both the Charlotte and the kestrel for seed potatoes. And this is all I done the other year when I kept the Winston ones, which I forgot about. But I've still planted some and they're still growing. They're over in them buckets over there. So all I do is just put them in a bag like this. I put the Charlottes on the bottom and then I put a piece of brown paper over the top with what they are underneath, and I'll write on the outside of this bag as well. And then I've put the kestrels on the top. So there's my seed potato, Charlotte and kestrel for next year. So there's quite a bit there. There's just some small ones which obviously we won't use, but at least I've got a good selection of seed potatoes now ready for next year. And we literally just close the bag up tight and we store it over in the garage over there, and they kept perfectly fine last year. So fingers crossed they'll be alright for next year. Just don't know where the time goes, guys. Right, as always, wherever you are in the world, please stay safe and be practical and keep yourselves out of harm's way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again in the next video.